10 years ago, the city created a set of priorities for transportation, and especially in the downtown, but it's a citywide policy. We want, first of all, to encourage people to walk. Secondly, cycling. Third, we'd like to encourage public transit, and the car comes last.
My name is Amy Walker, and I am a co-publisher of Momentum magazine. We distribute a magazine across North America, and we talk about the emerging transportation bike culture. The reason that we started was because there are a lot of people who ride their bikes for transportation, and sometimes you can be very isolated when you're just out on the road by yourself on your bike. So the magazine is a way of creating a connection between all these different people who are riding in all these different places. I think Vancouver is quite good. We have bike routes that go north-south, and we have bike routes that go east-west, and we have connections between our downtown and the municipalities surrounding it.
I actually started cycling before I was born. My parents, that's how they got around, was by bike. So when my mother was pregnant with me, she must have been riding around on her bike, so that's how I started. The mistake a lot of people make is they get an old mountain bike and they'll put a pack on their back, and then they get frustrated because it's so difficult. What you need is a light bike, a road bike like this. There's a lot of good bike shops in town that sell these bikes, these commuter bikes. They're lightweight, they're really easy to get around on. I got this particular bike at Our Community Bikes.
We're lucky to have Our Community Bikes because it's a thriving, active, really amazing community center where people can come and learn skills and meet each other and get greasy. And it's a neat looking place. It's got, you know, just art up on the walls and a funky attitude.
It's not about making money, right? They're here to help you fix your bike the cheapest possible. I don't need to spend the money it would cost to take it into a regular bike shop. I can bring it here, work on it on my own. They really help you out a lot too.
Bikes are not that complicated. If you think of what it would be like to work on your car and what it would be like to work on your bike, you can figure out your bike. You can try it. Most people can work on their own bike. The biggest problem is probably the weather.
Right now it's not too bad. If you get really heavy snow, that's a challenge, of course. Some people, they put studded tires on their bike. If it rains, you need good rain gear. You need booties on your feet to keep the rain off your shoes. You need a good jacket and rain pants.
I don't have to sit in a stinky bus, and I don't have to sit in traffic. It's fun to splash around in the rain on your bike.
The political advocacy that has come with them, especially the Vancouver Area Cycling Coalition, has done an unbelievable amount of work to bring the city to the table to force the investments, which is the only way you're going to grow the cycling community.
The Canada Line Bridge is one of our big accomplishments. This wouldn't have happened if it weren't for our advocacy work. It's a $10 million addition to the Canada Line Bridge. It's a nice wide bike path, pedestrian bike path that goes across the river here. It's a beautiful structure, and as you can see by the tracks in the snow here, it's quite well used.
Putting a full bike lane on either side of the Burrard Bridge, which had been tried in the 90s and spectacularly failed. That bridge was identified as the critical pedestrian and cycling crossing at False Creek.
Now we have one lane dedicated to cycling going southbound. We have the sidewalk going northbound. What we'd like to see is another lane going northbound for cyclists. The pedestrians can have the east sidewalk. I think that would be a great solution, but so far it's working really well.
It's been very successful. It's going to stay in right through the Olympics, and then the bridge redesign will incorporate the best possible cycling infrastructure.
We need to learn, we need to educate ourselves as drivers and as cyclists about our etiquette on the road and our manners and what is legal and what is acceptable.
I'd like to see ICBC and the police work out a province-wide program so that when people were buying bikes, there was an element of training, and when motorists were getting their training, they understood where the cyclists were at. We
have a Streetwise cycling course that teaches adults how to be more confident and safe riding in traffic. We teach also elementary and now also high school students. We did 2 Bike to Work weeks this year, and we're actually extending it now into December. We have, and what we do there is we encourage people to commute to work by bike. Next year we'll implement this, it's called the Sequal Vias, where you shut down a road for several hours on a Sunday and just have cyclists, pedestrians, skateboarders using the roadways for that period of time.
We also doubled the spending on bicycle infrastructure. We were only spending about 1.7 million a year. We put that up to 3.4. That means we're calming more bike routes, we're putting in a few more bike lanes, we're putting in some more actuated crossings so that cyclists and pedestrians can cross. We're getting up to the real goals that are being achieved elsewhere, like 30–40% mode share by bicycle. We've got the climate for it, whereas we've got a very analogous climate to Copenhagen, but we have a very poor mode share in most of the city.
2 weeks ago we started on the Arbutus Line. It's a rail corridor that's not being used anymore, and it goes all the way across Vancouver, right close to the Burrard Bridge. And we're actually starting the process of campaigning to make that into a bike route.
We're going to create that plan and embed it right in the transportation planning. Cycling could be part of the solution.